Welcome back. Still talking uncut. I'm your host, Big Easy, joined by my co-host Sean Rigsby. We got a guest tonight. Ain't nothing special. So
Yeah,
uh
thanks.
Ola Master decided we decided to have Masters join us tonight, like whatever, man. We need a punching bag. So uh, but hey, sorry we've been gone so long, it was really truly Sean's fault why we haven't been here, but he had a good reason. And we get to hear all about it tonight, excited, really excited, excited for Sean. And so, but before we go on and get a little farther into this, we got to do our due diligence. We usually take a few minutes to introduce our guests, but we ain't doing that. What you drinking on, Sean?
Uh,
That's our guest right there.
Get the honor.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Sean got some Bush Light peaches. We knew it was happening when they come out with the Bush Light peaches. I was like, oh man, he's gonna have some of them. So, what sipping cream was that?
the rest of Jenny's peanut butter.
It's a pretty
Oh, you're
No,
in
I
trouble now.
no. We got another bottle when I went down there for the run.
She give him this one. It's a special occasion, so she won't mind if he finishes off that jar.
No, they actually, if you take the peanut butter and you mix it with YooHoo, it's actually really good. Like a
Bet.
Reese's peanut butter cup.
Hmm.
We don't want to make anybody mad about that. So
Sean's gonna have to start drinking the comments on TikTok, huh? Tell him what mixed drink to make. So, what do you think of the Bush Light peach? You like the apple better than the peach?
the peach has more peach to it than apple does apple, if that makes any sense.
Well, yeah, I could see that. So, which one you like better?
Uh, Man, I'm a peach guy.
I'm a peach guy, but peach it is, huh? So I
Yep.
guess let me know if you need me to store 10 cases in the barn for you. I got you. You better stock up while you can, or you gonna have Bennett bringing it up from North Carolina again. Like meet me
Right.
at the jam with it, Bennett. So, but anyways, what you drinking on over at the Masters?
Well, I figure out of respect of Sugarlands actually stepping up. I got the peanut butter and jelly.
I haven't had the peanut butter and jelly.
It's you get the jelly up front, then the peanut butter just kind of hangs out.
Late.
It's pretty good.
Nice.
So, what
So,
about yourself?
I was down in Florida over Memorial Day, and on my way back, I stopped by Uncle Dum Dum Swamp Juice Distillery. Daryl Flack, and I picked up some of his corn liquor. Let's see where it is.
That's good stuff.
And I got y'all jars. I just ain't seen you. Well, I saw Sean, but I wasn't toting his shit down to Kentucky to give it to him. I wasn't doing all that. So, I stopped in. It was cool. Just to because he's so far away. It's all the way down in Florida. He's 1,000 miles away from us. So to have the opportunity to stop in there right when he first opened, and
I'm sure he was happy to someone other than the law to show up.
I'm sure he was. I don't know if you're happy if I show up. I don't know how happy you could possibly be. But speaking of Daryl, there he is. And so I stopped in there right when he opened, and we're in there. I checked out still he had in the bag, big old beautiful all copper rig. And he's like, "You want to try this? Try that?" And I'm like, "Man, I got 12-hour drive, man. I'll try your corn liquor because that's what I'm gonna buy." And try the corn liquor, and there's this lady, and she's in there, and she's like, "Well, I don't know if my husband needs another jar at home." And I was like, "Well, you better have too much and not enough." She went ahead and bought her a jar for her husband. It was pretty cool. So
One thing you don't want's an empty jar.
that's right. When you run out, that's when you got problems. So.
Well, we gonna get to it, Sean. You gonna tell us about the experience?
Good corn
Well,
liquor.
ask me away.
All right, so
I'm the
Sean
guest.
finally, We asked Sean questions, huh? Tell us about thermal expansion. What you learned about thermal expansion this weekend, Sean?
It didn't apply.
Okay, it didn't apply. All right. So, in case you don't know, Sean finally got to go and mash in his limited run at Sugarlands. So was it 2 weeks ago? That's why we wasn't. Well, we took Monday off for Memorial Day, out of respect. And then a weekend after, on Monday, we wasn't here because Sean was in Gatlinburg, getting tipsy and mashing in. So, well, tell us how it went down, Sean. Tell us all about getting to actually mash in a big tank right inside Sugarlands Distillery, right there in front of everybody.
It's a lot of work. It was a lot of getting dirty. I mean, they let me grind all the grains, except for barley. They did that over at well, first, let me back up. Okay, so when we went down there, me and Jenny, we got to go over to the Kodak warehouse, which is where we filmed at, and it's now the distillery where they house the 4,500 gallon all copper pot. Supposed to be the biggest pot still in the country, and they've got a bunch of different 8,500 gallon fermenters and all kinds of different shit. But we got to go over and check that out and tour the facility and everything, and kind of see what I was hearing about the whole time.
So
what exactly was going on.
Why you was waiting, because they was getting all that ready.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of work. They had a brand new bottle line.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was pretty. There was a lot going on, and we were told, they were going to do some remodeling. And they were having problems with finding bottles, and then just a bunch of other stuff. And Greg was getting it going. I didn't realize the undertaking he had. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, we were all upset, but they come through, at least so far. So you can't complain with that. Now,
Hey, it just seems like just yesterday we were sitting here talking, and I'm like, hey man, just be patient, man. It'll happen. I know you've been patient a really long time, but it'll happen, and it finally did. Which is cool. So you mashed in. What was your mash bill on it?
So on the show, I used let's see, I'm sure what everybody wants to hear. A little more sugar. Well, no, I used a little more sugar on the show because we had an hour to mash in. We didn't have, cooked pots, and I mean, we had a stainless steel thing, but we only had an hour. So
it makes sense. You're you're able to put in a lot more love at the distillery than you was on a timed show, So you're able to go a little farther and get you good conversion.
Yeah, we weren't real restricted with time. He, he said you can either add. So originally he asked for the recipe, and I give it to him, and he's like, well, we have all the equipment to do whatever you want. So I mean, if you want to cook on a grain, we can cook on a grain. If you want to do more of a conversion, we can do that. And I was like, yeah, why not? So and that's one thing I was really appreciative, or however you say it, that he kind of let me do what I wanted to do, let me do the work. So as far as the grinding grains, he let me do that. I'm sure he didn't have a problem with me carrying the bags up the ladder.
So
in the cooker.
So you got to do all the labor work for the first time ever, instead of watching somebody else do it, huh? Well played, Greg.
We'll say it's been a
played,
while.
bro. It's nice somebody put Sean's ass to work finally.
Greg is my hero.
He is. He's a legend now. He stood and watched Sean pack up bags of grain. So,
but
what was it, 50-pound bags? Every bag you had to pack up that ladder and dump in?
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. And I have to, Daryl Flack, he actually one-upped me. He said, I can't be there for the mashing, but I can be there for the run. So he was there for the easy part.
So how much grain? How much grain did he give them to mash in for him?
I feel like he had like 1,500 pounds of grain and like 1,600 pounds of sugar. Maybe it was less grain, but it was still about that amount of sugar.
Well
That's
played, Daryl. Well played. I can't be there for that part. I dig it, man. I dig that. That's where it's at. So you got the mash in. I'm sure that's the biggest mash you ever made at one time.
Oh yeah, yeah. It. I was gonna say something. I can't remember.
Now, how many gallons did that make total?
Yeah, how big was
So-
that?
How many gallons of mash?
It was 800 gallons.
800 gallons.
Nice. And that was what Bloody Butcher corn.
Oh, so
Right.
yeah. I wound up using. I can't remember the pounds of grains, but it was still like
Shit
it
ton. What
was
you
a
say?
little.
Shit ton.
So I wound up adding 150 pounds of sugar total, which isn't much in the grand scheme of things in that. So it was a little under.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
that was-
much what you took to the show, wasn't it?
I was going to say that's less than what you took on the show. It's on the same wavelength, same mind here, Matt. But anyway, we
I
got
used
something
30
right.
pounds on the show. I used about a pound a gallon.
Well,
But anyway, now you got me all sidetracked. Now, also, it was
used
white
150
wheat malt.
gallons of sugar.
150 pounds of sugar. Yes.
Yeah,
But
150
anyway,
pounds of sugar.
and then just say, don't even mess with the sugar right now. So I added about. I'm saying about because I added sugar. So I added about 70% white wheat malt, about 20% Bloody Butcher corn, and 10% barley.
Nice.
And a little bit of sugar in the grand scheme of things on that one. But with the mash cooker and the mixer and everything, we were able to cook it and do the conversion. So I think it wound up being at like 1.075 without adding sugar. But
Nice.
for whatever reason, I had 1.08 on the paper that I give him or emailed him. So we just went ahead and bumped it to it.
Yeah.
And I think I added I used bread yeast. I do know that.
I was going to say, how much bread yeast did you use? I didn't have to ask what type of yeast.
For the whole batch, for the 800 gallon batch, I used 2 pounds. I took and mixed in a little bit of the mash that was already had converted everything in a 5-gallon bucket. Let it cool down, and then added some yeast to it, about half that, and it kind of made a yeast starter. And then once it got going real good, we dumped that in the mash after it was transferred over, and then I added the rest of it into the cooker as it was cooled down, but it was still letting it mix up real good.
I think it's great they let you use the bread yeast instead of something they normally use.
That is something they normally use.
Yep. That's,
Is it really?
yep.
Yes.
We was going to get to that,
Secrets coming out.
But so when you cooked it, what'd you cook it with? Flame, heat? What type of heat did you use to cook it with?
It was a steam jacket.
Okay, same thing you used to run the still with.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
And it was real nice. Like they could adjust it real easy. And then there was actually a coil on the inside of it that they could turn water on, and it would go in to cool it down faster as well.
Like a wort chiller.
Yep.
Like a big giant wort chiller.
Huh.
Yeah, it was. Well, that was the big thing for me was I got to be around and use things I would never have the chance to do.
It's a once in a lifetime experience, like that.
Yeah.
That you've been vying for and waiting, and it sounds like you went and you had a great time. I know you was down there the first night you was down there. You're sending us pictures. You're having dinner with Tater and them, and we're all like, "Oh man, they serving y'all High Rock. You guys having a High Rock vodka mixture? Like, what are you having? Like, we're just busting your balls so hard. You're down here living your dream, having a great time, and we are just me and Matt are giving you so much shit the whole time."
We had to because I was so jealous the whole damn time. Like, I want to be there.
I want to party with you. I want to party. It's like, that's what you do, man. You boys, it don't matter what they got going on. You're going to keep them down to earth.
So the day we went to the warehouse to do the tour and everything with Greg, we wound up going over to Sugarlands in Gatlinburg, and he asked us when we were going, and I said, well, probably be an hour or so. Well, it wound up being like 4 hours, probably longer, honestly. But anyway, we went, and they had those.
Oh, you got the
The
VIP treatment?
VIP bands.
Yeah,
Nice.
and me and Jenny, we went in there and we had a good time, and we had they give us some liquor, had some free cocktails in the back, and 50% off the merch, I believe it was.
Can't beat that, man.
Wow.
And then the next morning, I had to be there at 7 a.m. to go work.
Just like old times, and work you did. Like, he ain't worked that hard since the last time he was there on making liquor. Might as well keep it drunk. So after you were done mashing and everything, you left and you came back the following weekend to do your run.
Yeah, man.
And so
Was it yeah. Go ahead.
It was like Monday. Was it the Monday or Tuesday? So you had like 6 days worth to work off. Did everything work off? Did it work off and zero out on you?
Yeah. So mine started at like I said 0.80 or 1.080 for people watching, and then it had, I believe it was 6 days total. And yeah, mine was zeroed out. When I got there, though, funny
he was
story.
worried that all week. Like, man, I wonder if it's going to be zeroed. I hope it's zeroed. I hope it's zero. Yeah, I'd be worried too. You're not there. You can't check on it. And
but that wasn't what I was so much worried about, right? Usually it's no news is good news, right? Well, didn't hear anything. And then when we went down there, me and my son went down there for the run, and I glanced in there, and the vessel that I had mine in was still working. I mean, hard.
Working hard, a big old cap on it. I remember you sent us pictures. Like,
I'll
when you were
picture
through
that.
the class, and it's like, I'm like, bro, that ain't done, man. Like, I can tell from your picture, that is a full roar. And then
I was thinking just do a U-turn and come home because that dude.
Not me. I'm like, man, fuck it, run it. Whatever.
So I went in the next day to do the stripping run, and when I got there, that's one thing that the other distiller, Mason, he had done. He actually had it pumped over when I got there, and when I got there, he had the other one pumped, not the one that my stuff was in originally, the other one. And I asked him, I said, are you sure you pumped in the right one? He's like, yeah. Why? And I was like, well, that's the one that we used last week to put it in. He's like, oh, yeah. We needed more volume, so we had to transfer yours into the other one so we could, with Daryl's, and come to find out, he had 1,600 pounds of sugar.
So what you thought was yours that was working off wasn't yours. It was Daryl's that was in that tank that yours originally was in. And it's like, oh, what a relief. Like, should have told me that coming in. And, the whole time, every time Sean's by those tanks, we're like, bro, you got to finger bang that tank. Like, you walk by a tank of mash, you got to stick your fingers in it, then give it a taste. It's the way it is. It's the code. It's an unwritten rule. It's like baseball, unwritten rules. You walk by a mash tank, you got to stick your fingers in and just see where there's quality control. So, they had already had all your mash inside the still.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we're talking all your mash, we're talking all of it, grain, everything that was in the fermenters is now.
Yep.
And that's because they run all with the steam, right?
Yep. And the stripping run. So we done the stripping run, and
all right. So you guys did 2 runs, right?
Yes.
And normally
I normally would.
Normally you see they run through all those plates.
Yep.
Did you strip through any plates, or did you just go straight pot to condenser?
So with the stripping run, I believe it was straight pot to the condenser, and we ran all the way down to 20 proof.
Now, in the beginning, did you throw anything off? You're doing a stripping run. Did you throw anything off at the beginning? Because a lot of guys, when they do stripping runs, they toss off heads.
I would give you an honest answer, but I don't remember. I don't believe we did. Uh, I don't.
Well,
Maybe we did. I don't remember.
What's Greg at the release?
Huh?
Find out from Greg at the release. It's a
Yeah,
burning
he'll
question.
remember.
I got to know too. But anyways, what did you run down to? How far did you take your stripping run down to? And in case if you're new here, you don't know what a stripping run is. A stripping run, you run all your liquor down to as low in the tails as you want, and then you throw it back in the still and you run it again.
So, the stripping run, we ran it all the way down to, hold on, 20 proof, so 10%.
Okay.
Yeah. And it
You got
was
almost everything out of it.
Yeah.
As far as you want to
literally.
go.
Hey, distillers are about dollars and cents, man. They're gonna take everything they can and make every
I'm
dollar
surprised
they
he took
can.
it that far.
Well, you got to think about that. We're throwing that back in an 800-gallon pot.
Yeah, so you gotta.
True.
Yeah, but
So we'll let you.
Go ahead.
You good? So we'll let you lead to the next part because we don't know what you can and cannot discuss about running. Say you put it back in the still, and
I don't really know that either, honestly.
so we won't say. We'll skip that part. We're good.
So, anyways, Daryl said there was nothing pulled on the stripping run, so we everything and cuts made during the spirit run.
They took it all from the beginning down to the last proof, and then threw it back in there again and reran it.
Yep.
And with the jacketed still, you was able to keep it at a high proof, right, without worries.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
And so, which is cool, Is it charging? But little technical difficulties over there. We're all good. But anyways, so like he's messaging us and sending us pictures of the run, and we're like, man, that thing is pouring like a hose. It's like somebody left the water hose on, man. It was just pouring into this vat when he's doing that strip and run.
That looked insane.
It was crazy. Like, I've never been that close to a still running that big,
So basically, the way he did it was I think it was 4 plates, and then they come over and into a condenser, right? So, 4 plates of deflag in the condenser. So what he did, and he explained it. This is how he does. A lot of people don't. Which I don't think he would mind if I said it, but he will turn the deflag on 100%. 100% from the start on the spirit run. That way it condenses the heads down into a little bit, you know what I mean? And then every 5 minutes we'll turn it down. So I think there's 5 or 6 different times that we have to turn it down. But he said he runs about the same every time that way. So he said it really concentrates the heads down in the run.
Yeah, so basically you're holding them up in there until
by having it really cold at the beginning, you're knocking all that down early and then decreasing as your run goes. How cool was it just to gain that knowledge and listen to somebody that's what he does for a living all the time, and
yeah, man, it was every time you run with somebody, you always learn something a little different. And me not really having any experience with vodka at all.
And you're fish out of water. You're on this big giant major distillery equipment that's all push buttons and pull levers and turn knobs, So you're learning. When you did your spirit run, you're saying you ran through 4 plates with a deflag.
Mm-hmm.
And what did you use? Because you infused your berry flavor.
Yep.
What'd you use to infuse your berry with?
So they had 2 gin baskets there. And it was a valve off kind of situation. Um, and well, before we keep going, there's a story here that we skipped over and forgot to talk about.
Rewind.
When I was done with the stripping run, right? So we had to do a few things that I'm not really going to talk about. But anyway, we were pumping it over into a tote from the still, right? So Greg takes the hose and sticks it down in the stainless tote, and then he goes over. He's just moving valves and shit. Well, he didn't tell me he turned it on. So as soon as this thing gets pressure, you know exactly what it does. All over the place. So we're both chasing this fucking thing. He goes over and shuts it off.
Are you pumping liquor out? Is that what you're pumping out?
Oh man, like a fire hose.
So you're pumping. It was that your strip liquor?
Yeah, man, it was a good time.
I bet. Like, God dang, man, I waited so long. Here it is, just pumping it in the floor.
Anyway, we got to figure it out. Got it, And but anyway, and then moved on to spirit run. But yeah, we went through the plates, the D flag, and then over to the gin baskets. But like I said, eventually the D flag was completely shut off.
Yeah, it was. You just used it early. So, like, you sent us pictures of you stuffing them gin baskets full. What all did you put in the gin basket?
The gin. So we had raspberries, strawberries, and vanilla beans.
How many pounds of raspberries and strawberries did you start with?
Till it was full.
Nice.
They in the TTB thing, he blocked out a certain amount of poundage, for all of it, which I'll have to go back and look, but
I don't expect you to remember.
Yeah, but so that way it kind of covers for however much we use.
Yeah, for sure.
But it was a lot, and then the first time we did it, I was like, okay, I was happy with that. But then I'm like, a little bit of vanilla. I'm like, well, next time let's just hammer it with vanilla, and it was cool.
Go a little heavy on the second time to make up for how light it was on the first time, and give you a nice balance.
Yeah, and it come off the still the second or the spirit run. I think it first come off. It was like 185, maybe a little higher. It was almost 190.
Did it have much berry flavor in it at that point?
I didn't try.
Pansy.
I'd have been drunk right there.
I want to know though, who authorized you to use a knife? I'd have thought that'd have been a liability on their part.
Nobody died or got hurt, so we count it as a win.
That's right. That's always a win, And even if you just get hurt a little bit, it's still a win. So, you take what you get.
With the whole ordeal, I did not use honey because, it would have sat at the bottom, and the pipe goes into the gin basket below that. So you know how honey is, anyways. It probably wouldn't have picked up anything at all. But it was probably as close to what I made on the show as I could hope to get, I guess, in a bigger scale, if that makes any sense.
I bet it's better. I bet it's better.
Well, I'm hoping that too. Well,
love, man. It's all about the love, man.
I guarantee you, it's got more berry in it.
Yeah, and it's got more love into it. You got time.
No, it's literally got more berry.
Oh yeah, I know it does. I know it does. So you're did your run go off the whole time without a hitch other than the water hose, or was there a little couple bumps in the road that you got past and you can't talk about them yet?
Well, there was a couple bumps in the road.
That happened. That's
that's
doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're a beginner at home on a 5-gallon Vever, you're on a keg still, or you're in a distillery running a 1,000-gallon pot, there's going to
Yep.
be bumps every time. It's just all depends on how you deal with them.
Yeah, that's what makes a good shiner. Somebody can overcome that stuff every time.
Or how or how bad they work. 'Cause sometimes it gets so bad that
Yeah,
you're just like, oh man.
But yeah, there was. I mean, so I guess easy way of putting it is, my run was the first run they actually used the gin baskets, because they don't infuse anything. They run straight liquor, and then they kind of go from there.
So
No,
this is your
Seth-
run was the first time they've ever run those gin baskets in there.
Mhm. As far as yep, that's what Greg said.
what I was
that's
going to
wild.
ask.
That's cool as hell. I mean, how cool is that?
There was some issues, but we
There had to be a little learning curve on the gym baskets too. They've never used them.
there was a learning curve for everybody because
Yeah,
I've never personally done one myself.
I don't care if you've run your still a million times. The first time you change one little part on that, you have to relearn how to run that still again.
Different still at that point.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what one little thing, and it's a totally different still. It runs differently. This runs that runs this.
Well, and let me explain something. You worded that perfect. So if you're running a thumper, right? Have you guys, either one of you guys, ever puked a thumper? Have you?
Yeah.
You got to run it hard though.
Yeah.
Hard.
When I was first learning,
it was undersized.
I wanted to push it, just to see. Like I like to destroy shit to learn from it. So early on, first getting into thumpers, I'm like, man, how hard can I push this? Just to see. It's a learning thing, and then you can see how far you can push something.
Oh yeah,
and I think that helps you later on because you know what you did exactly to make it fail. And
puking jars is my specialty.
Yeah. Oh, I've tasted your liquor. I know that.
So the run was going great, right? We got it going, and everything, and then I'm not gonna say who, but it was like, hey, turn that up a half a turn. So he turned it up half a turn. It's steam, right? So, and I bet you it almost instantly, man, because we had the valve open, sampling valve, just testing it.
What was you testing? Were you testing the stuff that was in the gin basket or the actual liquor coming out of the pot?
Actual liquor coming. So it was the liquor coming out after the gin baskets.
Yeah. After
going right. Because the way they have their still plumbed there is, Vindham Copperworks is who built both of theirs, all of them, all three of them. But that one's plumbed to where the gin baskets drain into the tank, the collection tank. So there's one of them drains into the heads tank, the other one drains into the hearts. But anyway, so back to with it coming out. So there's this little, I don't know, it's like a gallon or a 2-gallon flask kind of thing, that we open a valve and it just comes out to. We were, tasting it. When he told him to turn it up a little bit, when he did, I mean, it was an instant. We're pulling water from the gin baskets right over, and it was as pink as, yeah,
Possum.
It was pink.
Yep. As pink as a possum.
Yeah, pink as a possum. But,
that was possum pink.
Possum.
I don't know. Somebody had shirts like that, Beattyville. I forget who it was.
Sammy Hatcher.
Okay, it's your possum.
But as soon as we noticed it, we're like, turn it down, so he wouldn't turn it down. But it was pink, and I mean, everybody that's watched the video on Sugarlands have seen that, which is real pretty pink, right? But I wanted it clear, and thankfully, by the time it was turned down, you have 5 gallons, or I don't know, but I'm just saying, you take 5 gallons and you put it in 100 gallons. It's a little different than putting 5 gallons in 10 gallons or 5 gallons in 20 gallons. Like it's a percentage. Real small percent. And overall, as far as the flavor goes, I'm happy with it. Me and Greg actually talked about this prior to the incident because we were draining the gin baskets, right? Because they would fill up, over time. and we drain it and just dump it in a 5-gallon bucket. Well, that was still like 130 proof that we were dumping in the 5-gallon bucket. So he was like,
Now you're pulling out of the gin baskets.
yeah. So he was like, what do you want to do with this? You want to
Bring it
you
home.
want well, that's
the
not
whole
an option.
the whole time we're like, hey man, fill me up a handshake. Give me a pint. Just give me a cap full. Like just something, man. Like
Well,
put
he
it
was
in
like,
a
so what do you want to do with
sandwich
it? You want to use it, or or do you want to just maybe add it, and with the end of the run, kind of see how it goes, and then just, I was like, well, we kind of talked about it, but it was a great berry. It was 130 proof, so it was.
But it was
But
pink.
there was a slight bitterness to it that I didn't
Okay.
like, and I was afraid to, even after like I said, we had the little incident. I was afraid to add that to it because at least at the end of the day, if it didn't look good, I knew it would still be good. I was going to be happy with it on the flavor end of it, and I really hated to possibly mess that up and be a complete ruin deal. And Daryl Flack said it tasted good.
I was going to say, Daryl sent Sean a picture of it. It's crystal clear, and told him it tastes good. And he sent over to us like, "Hey, Daryl, this is what it looks like." And Daryl said it tastes good, and I'm like, we all lie to our friends, Sean.
That's what I was going to say. Not sure that I believe Daryl 100%.
We all lie to our friends, It's like the old lady lies to us. We lie to our friends. Let them make them feel good about themselves. So, but that's super cool, man. And
but Greg called. It was kind of funny because we I had to work the next day, so we left and we come home and Greg called me about 2 hours later because I infused the last infusion into the gin basket and I had to leave. But so he made the tails. Yeah, so he made the tails cut. He said he made the cut. He said he was kind of getting some flavors he wasn't used to having come over, so he made the cut. He said, but he's not used that kind of malted wheat like I did though, so that might have been
new still, man. Totally different mash build for him. Gin basket for the first time. Like everything's different. Like I can imagine he runs things a certain way all the damn time that anything a little different is going to make it like, oh, I'm a rookie again. What am I doing? It doesn't matter how long you've been in the game.
Yeah, you probably taught Greg a little bit just from making it.
Yeah, if anybody's been in Sugarlands, you can take tours, right, of that little downtown distillery. And
remember we all went.
The
mash.
We were back there, and a tour come up, and this guy, this group come up, and one of the guys was like, "So, what makes you, in your opinion, how long does it take to become a master distiller?"
There's a loaded question for you.
Well, he asked me. I looked at Greg.
40 minutes.
I looked at Greg. I said, well, it don't ever happen, in my opinion. I said, you're always learning, And then Greg, he was like, if you're considered a master distiller, he said, chances are you're at the same place doing the same thing over and over and over and over.
You've mastered that distillation.
Yeah, because the guy had went to another distillery, and he was like 5 years. I was like, man, my ears were still wet at 5 years.
That's when I started learning. After 5 years, I was just learning. I didn't know what I was doing before that.
I still don't. I ain't got a clue, man. You just faking it along the way, and
I learned how to bullshit my way through it now.
Yeah, you're just trying to learn from everybody around you when they speak, just trying to gain that knowledge, And you're never the master, No. You can always learn.
Yep. There's a million different ways of doing all this.
Yeah. The day you quit learning, I feel like it's the day you should quit, or,
Yep.
But all in all, it was a great experience. I learned how they dealt with some other issues, as far as bigger stuff. I mean, we ran on the show 20 gallons. That's a little bigger.
Just a little, you know. I
Go
mean,
ahead.
you know, when you're dealing with that much money at a time, you've got to learn how to fix anything, almost anything.
Well,
Like,
you know, if you remember when we were there last year taking that tour, we were laughing looking at that whole system. Like, how does this even work? And I'm a maintenance tech by trade. I look at stuff and figure out how it works, and I scratch my head on all that, going, "What the hell?"
you leave me in there for 20 minutes, man. I'll have that son of a bitch like a liquor.
Yeah, if we could
Liquor,
press switches, it may have been a different story.
yeah,
But
yeah. Let me start pushing buttons and flipping shit. We're gonna have liquor here real soon. So tell us, how long did it take to heat up that still from on to dripping heads? And you said 850 gallons. How quickly did it heat up that you was collecting heads for the time you turned that steam on to drip?
So first off, that one don't drip heads.
I think it didn't drip nothing. Like, dude, it looks like a faucet. Like, he was sending us videos of it, and I'm like, bro, how are you not drunk? How are you not laying underneath that thing, waterboarding yourself? But
So during the spirit run, or sorry, the stripping run, basically, what he said he wanted to do is get it done as fast as possible without scorching it, which is exactly how we would do it.
yeah, like, I was going to say,
Hopefully,
it made you feel at home, right? Everything except doing the labor work made you feel at home.
Yeah, and it was from the time the pot was charged until from the time he turned the steam on till the time it came out for the stripping one was literally 45 minutes.
Oh, that's crazy.
wow, wow.
850 gallons from opening the heat valve to pouring heads in 45 minutes.
Dude, I'm telling you, it was something else.
That's great.
And even the spirit run, dude, it was not far from that. It was the thing was with that, that had a lot of valving off, with the gin baskets and everything. But that's where the that's where he turned the deflag on, so it was a little bit longer.
Now,
A little slower heat up because you were doing the spirit
did he run
run.
it slower on the spirit run?
Yeah, oh yeah, but still, dude. I mean,
we saw what slower was.
Yeah.
That volume just.
Oh yeah.
So the thing is, right?
The way that thing was poured.
In theory, right? You think bigger the pot, the longer it takes. In a lot of cases, it does. Now, a lot of people think, well,
not necessarily.
Right. Well, when we were up there at in Kodak, I asked him. I was like, "So what's the deal with the 4,500 gallon? How long does it take?" He goes, "It's a shift. It takes about a shift because everything is just bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Not just the pot. The arm's bigger.
Yeah.
All your reducers. I mean,
everything's giant. It's kind of like when you go from
on that when it's running full bore though.
Oh yeah, right. That's a fire hose.
Yeah, it's 2 inch from a 3/4. It's a difference between a 3/4 inch hose and a 2 inch hose.
Yeah, that's insane.
Water hose, But
there ain't a whole lot of difference in those though. Ask my wife.
I'm surprised I didn't get a comment on that.
You remember, man, the old lady lies to you to make you feel better.
Just like Daryl.
That's right. You lie to your friends to make them feel better. It's trickle down lying to make everybody feel better, man. That's how it goes. So
yeah, go ahead.
Do you know when your release is going to be? Like, is it up in the air? Is it kind of? Is it set in stone? Like that's why we all here. We all want to know, because I'm gonna tell you right now, we all gonna meet up there. Everybody who could be there is gonna be there. And
so as of right now, the word is July 29th. That weekend. I'm looking forward to it.
That'd be my birthday. Let's do it.
That'd be your birthday.
So
Also, go ahead.
probably the Friday after the jam is what you're saying. Friday
Yes.
or Saturday, one day that
Yep.
weekend after the jam.
And that is not also only going to be mine. It's Daryl Flack will be there too if that's what they decide on.
It's
Might
do a double, just release them both at the same time.
Mhm.
Daryl, John, you know.
We
What
need to
a player.
apologize to Daryl because we're all showing up.
Sorry,
Sorry, Daryl. There goes the neighborhood.
Oh, we're gonna have a good time.
I'll be sure to tell him his is very good.
Tell him how good it is.
But no, it's you know, I was I don't know. When it started coming out that way, I wasn't real thrilled, but they, you know, I mean, it is like it is what it is, right? It's oh, how do I put this? It just, I mean, it is what it is, right? You get what you get, you see what you see, kind of thing. You know, and hopefully it's decent.
So I'm sure it will be. Hey, we got a question
It's
on here.
decent. It's good.
Did they let it breathe?
Don't they just let it sit in a big tote? They'll just sit in a big tote, a big stainless tote.
So, yes. So he wanted to let it sit for a few days, but he don't want to let it sit. So the one of the questions were at the distillery is Greg gonna let it sit in a tote until labels are made and there and ready to go, and then bottle it and label it at the same time? Or is he just going to proof it all down, get it in bottles, and then just label it when the time comes? He was talking about proofing it down, obviously letting it sit for 3 or 4 days to let it air out and breathe, as Ron here is asking, but then get it in jars, because that way at that point he won't have to worry about evaporation.
Okay.
And losing any liquor. So, but yeah, that's the plan with that. It's going to be 93 proof. And we'll see from there.
You wanna tell us why it's going to be 93 proof? I mean, I know why. If you want to share, you can. I enjoyed why.
So my old man would have been 93 this year.
That's awesome. I'm glad I talked to you and share. It's stuff like that, man. It's really cool. You pay homage to your old man.
Yeah. It originally for a lot of people that are watching, of course, it was a pot still vodka on the show, but since it wasn't going to be a vodka, they couldn't label it or market it as such because it didn't come off at 190. So it's just going to be a very infused pot still moonshine.
Understandable. I'm sure that's different labeling, and like you said, you got to run it a lot. It's a lot more work to get it to 190 to make it vodka, and so I could see why they made that change. And I'm sure there's a couple other reasons in there, but we won't go.
Well, that's all the paperwork and red tape through our government doing that. So,
but hey, congratulations, man! A long time coming, and
yes, congratulations. We're proud of you.
Glad you finally got to do it. Finally got to go live that dream and make that run, and now you just waiting to see your ugly face on that jar, man. So.
I'm interested to see what it tastes like. I know Daryl was giving me some shit earlier. I really don't want to talk about, but I think it's going to be pretty decent. It was. I was happy with compared to a smaller scale, right?
Oh yeah.
I was happy with it because I felt like I got more berry in it than I did during filming, because I had so much to work with then, as to where I still had only so much to work with, but it was a lot more, and I could do it how I wanted to without being on a time crunch of doing it.
You could put your time into it, and
Yeah.
Time equals love, and that's what goes into it, man. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to Daryl's too, and it's mostly
Yeah.
clear as far as from what I've been told and seen. So I'm definitely happy with that.
Yeah,
So props to Sugarlands for doing.
I'm definitely looking forward to when we're down there. Hopefully they do Daryl at the same time, and we could get jars of both of them.
Oh yeah,
that'd be super cool. And then add it to my collection. So, get one drinking jar and one saving jar. So
one for the shelf. Yep,
that's right.
Yeah, it's going to be weird, man. I mean, it's been cool going down there and making a mash and running it, but I think going in there and actually seeing it.
Oh yeah,
it's on it. That's going to be
it's gonna
damn motherfucker, you ugly.
It's gonna be it's gonna be a surreal moment that's gonna hit you a little differently, especially after waiting, having to wait because of all the hurdles and everything you had to wait, and just finally, so it's gonna be amazing. So, we'll be sure once Sean knows for sure when it is, then we're gonna talk about it every show until we're down there that weekend, so everybody will know when it is. And
I'll give you fair warning, though. There's going to be an announcement when you walk in the building.
That means I better get there before Shelly then.
Yeah. My wife's going to be screaming it down the street.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, but yeah, it's this will probably be the first time it's been run, and it'll probably be the last time it's been run, and unless something else comes up.
Yep. Cool. Now, after they run this, is that recipe back to you, or is it still under contract? Or
I need to get with Greg exactly to see, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, I know it's back to me, but I think it's after it sells out.
After it sells out.
He couldn't even remember what he put into it, so how can he duplicate it?
Oh no, I've got paper of what
I know you do. I know you do. So
basically,
got that paper, he'll be all right.
Anybody else has a distillery wants to get a hold of him.
Yeah, so that was one of the things too, right? I was wondering, because there were some things that could be changed, right, along the line. So I didn't know if I just want to roll with what I did, or if I wanted to add like a post flavoring or whatever. And to be honest with you, as far as sales go, that was something that I kind of would like to do. But I was like, well, wait a minute, you get one run of what you ran, so. No, I don't want to do it. If it was something that was going to be sold for,
mass
years
market,
or whatever,
mass market.
Then
that's cool. But stay true to yourself. You're all about infused flavor. You ain't all about post flavoring your liquor, and so you stay true to yourself and run it how you wanted to do it. And it's like you said, it's just a limited run, and it's going to sell out as quickly as they put it out. And
well, I wanted it as close to.
We may buy it up.
Like I said, I wanted it as close to as what I did as I could get, and I think Greg done a great job at helping make that happen. And a lot of people have bad thoughts about Sugarlands. With the whole ordeal and everything, but they're coming through. It took a minute, right? Because they have things they have to do. And Greg, he had a lot of hand, and I didn't really realize it until I went down there and seen it firsthand.
Yeah.
But they're coming through. So, everybody that's got a win, just kind of hang on and give them a chance.
The ball's rolling now,
The ball's rolling, yeah.
Ball's rolling, and
it's good that you were there and you see that and you see what he goes through on a day-to-day basis to kind of understand. It's been a while, but now they're stepping up, and hats off to them, because in my personal opinion, you go to Gatlinburg, you got to stop at Sugarlands.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you,
that's at least half a day back.
If you could get in the door, like sometimes you go there late, man, and the line is just so long. You're like, we got to go there tomorrow. I can't get in.
Yeah,
I'm not waiting 4 hours to get in there
just to do a tasting, right?
Yeah.
So and it's Sugarlands and Old Smoky. So You can't hit one without the other, really.
No, so
I mean,
I go with the shorter line and get buzzed up at Old Smoky. Then I don't care so much about waiting at Sugarlands because you're already. That by the time you get to the top of the hill, man, you get stop at all the wine places for the old lady, and you got to try them. And then they got the bourbon place at the bottom. And then by the time you get to the top of the hill, man, you're just like, all right, it's time to go. And then you walk out there and you go get a big, giant, greasy slice of pizza from the Space Needle.
Oh, gosh.
And then you go lay in bed with heartburn the rest of the night.
Worth it. So worth it.
So, right.
Really, really glad, man. Really, it's awesome. Now, I mean, worst part is I got to find something else to give you shit about now because kind of beat that horse to death. But
well, I mean,
he makes it easy.
Yeah, it won't be hard. So
yeah, it was. Yeah, man, it was a good time, and I feel like everybody else that now some of the stuff that they do is going to be very interesting. I'm interested to see how it works out, and I'm glad to know that I was the guy that popped the gin basket cherry.
Super cool.
Just because it's interesting. I've never seen anything ran on that. Well, I've seen it, but I've never been around, for anything around that size of.
I think it was super cool that they let you take the lead and you were hands-on and you ran the show pretty much on your run. It wasn't, hey, do this, flip that over there. They let you just took the reins and did your thing, and they let you run that big giant still. That's so cool, man.
And we'll see, old Daryl. He's next up, and I don't know who's after that. Hopefully, I'm assuming it's probably going to be Alfredo, and maybe the right guy.
Wasn't Daryl the first episode, season 2?
No, Daryl was actually the episode right before me, I believe.
Yeah, before.
Yep. And
yeah, that'd be interesting to see who is next.
Yeah, I'm interested to get mine, and then once I get mine, I'm looking forward to seeing everybody else's.
You almost want to go down for every one. Like, I'll be back. I want to come back. I want to go back. Just live down there for a year.
After me and Daryl is done, me and Daryl will get ours. Maybe one more I'll go down there for. I don't know. It just depends, man. It's just a lot going back and down.
Especially you went down there 2 weekends in a row to have to, 3 or 4 days, and then come back, and then we'll be at the jam. We'll be at the jam.
Yeah.
On the
There's
weekend
another
of the
2 weekends in a row.
And then the weekend after, we'll be back down there, and so it's wild, but it's gonna be worth it in the end. So, well, shit, man, what'd you do this past weekend?
Beattyville. So we were in Beattyville, Lee County, Kentucky, for the Beattyville. It's a bourbon and moonshine festival, and of course, a bunch of us go and set up. We set up still talking.
There was a lot of shiners there. A lot of guys that you normally see. Old Doug, Doug Taylor. You got Scott, who was on the show with you. Uncle Dum Dum was there. You had Van Fields and you had the Hatfields and you had Paranormal. There was just so many different moonshiners there, man.
Yeah, man. Brian Silkett was there.
Yep. Hand building stills.
Yeah,
talking about copper and passing out gold coins.
Oh yeah, it was a good time. There was a bunch of like you said, there's a bunch of people there. There was a bunch of distillers there, but we did miss Neely family. They weren't there this year. I was kind of looking forward to them being there.
I noticed that.
But I heard they were out of state.
Yeah,
but that's they're good people. But yeah, it was a good time. They had a bunch of you do tastings. They had a moonshiners panel up there this year.
Yeah, that was cool. They had a bunch of still builders, distillery guys. Old Big Nick Callow was there. Got to meet him. Got to meet a few people for the first time that we've had on the show. I really look forward to that when we go to these things. That people that we've had on here and get to finally meet them in person, as opposed to just listening to them talk. It adds another level to it. And that's why I'm really looking forward to the jam, because there's going to be a lot more people at the jam. It was not a whole lot of people for that festival this year. It seems like it was right after the popcorn jam, the weekend after. And I'd have went to the popcorn if I could, but I didn't. And I wasn't going to go to Beattyville. But the last minute things changed, and I'm like, going to Beattyville. So I didn't get a chance to party around the pool with you guys this year. So
funny enough, I didn't really party around the pool.
You had a squad. You had a squad with you, between your better half and your kid, and then the people that was with you guys and their kids.
Yep.
And
it was it was a good time. I mean, we got back, we had dinner out there at the pool, and of course people come out. I think Jenny and them went back in, and it was me, Daryl, James, Scott, and then my buddy Keith come up. He was dogging me, but about a few things that I done. Well, a few things that was done.
Yeah.
And but it was cool, man. It was a good time, and it's we'll live to have fun for another time.
Yeah, I'm gonna get in early. I'm gonna reserve my room early next time so I can get up in the travel wise. Everybody else. So we got in like late at about 9:30. We got into the cabin, and then I'm like, let's run into town to get some food. And pulling into town, I didn't realize there ain't nothing there. like everything closes at 10 o'clock, and we're like, man, we're gonna eat Dairy Queen tomorrow. We don't want that. The pizza place just closed, and we get into town. There's no restaurants. There's nothing. And I'm like, man, Family Dollar's still open. Let's go in here and just grab something. We're there, we're looking, and I'm like, yep, bag of cereal, half gallon of milk. This is what's for dinner. Like you make do on a trip, But it was a great time, man. It was just listen to people talk, watching you learn how to hand build a still from Brian, showing you how to fold the bottoms.
All the bottom boys,
and just get everything correct. It was really cool to watch and just listen. It's the knowledge. Like anytime you go to something like that, if you just stand and listen, you can learn so much than if you have to talk.
Dude, I'm telling you, that's one thing I've learned over the years. You like when I was down there making the mash. I didn't really talk a whole lot. About certain things, right? But I asked a lot about those bigger stills, because I just want to know.
Well, you have an opportunity to work along next to somebody who that's what they do with these big giant stills. Hell yeah, you're going to ask every question you can think of, because that's new knowledge that you can learn. And whether you ever go back and run that again, like you have experience of running a steam jacketed, 850-gallon still, and of course you're going to want to learn more and more about everything that you're doing. So,
yep, it's what the fuck is it outside? He done knocked his
we done lost him.
I kicked it. I'm still here though. I'm still here.
But one thing you don't realize, I've never really reran anything, right? Done the stripping run, but something on that size of still, dude. You do a stripping run and you throw it all back in, like that shit hung high. I mean, high for a long time. I mean, hours. It'd be 4 hours, and they don't. Huh?
Was there anything down there you picked up on that big still you could incorporate into a small one?
Probably the deflag thing. I'd like to try that. And I asked him, I said, is that, scalable? And he said, yeah, that's something that I did on a 26 gallon.
Yeah.
Because that was the idea. So I really don't want to get into that because that's not my thing to talk about. But that's what he,
I'm going to pick your brain on it.
I've got one.
I've never used it.
What, your brain?
Yeah. Hell, I don't ever use that.
Hey, you
20,
set yourself up for that one, man. You set yourself up for that one, so I had to knock that one
That's
down.
a given, bro. That thing don't ever get used.
It's just old, a bunch of cobwebs, earwigs running around. But
That's just me.
so I guess the next festival is the Hillbilly Jam. So I know I'll be there. I know Matt didn't come down to Beattyville. He wasn't allowed
I
to come
didn't
out
make
and play this
Beattyville.
weekend.
No, I was grounded.
He got in trouble, I guess. So
Jam is a done deal.
The Jam's a done deal?
I'll be there at least one day.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I'll be there on Saturday.
I got a room at the Ramada, so that's where I'll be.
We got the same cabin as last year.
Yeah, you're not allowed to stay around us because you wind up too tipsy.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Say that again, Matt. Hey, Matt, say that again. I didn't hear you. Or she didn't hear you, I mean.
Yeah, as long as I keep the wife in line at the cabin.
In line. I like that. In line with what? You're nuts? I mean,
you should have gotten the same hotel room with us. We would have.
As long as she ain't flashing anybody in the hot tub, we're all right.
Nice. Old Judd's at the Ramada with me and Sean, so.
Old Judd.
That's gonna be a good time. Hey,
it'll be good seeing him.
I'm glad you're making it down, Judd. You know, real glad you're making it down. Glad you're doing great. Glad you're healing up. You know, we've been thinking about you, Judd. Love you, bro. So
but,
we're gonna have a good time. You can at least come by and hang out with us for a little bit. So I guess you don't get no 12 a.m. I serve Big Easy glizzies at midnight right off the grill. So, last year around the pool, I was fired up to grill and started grilling hot dogs. When I was done, like, anybody want a hot dog?
So yeah, not to cut anybody off, but just let anybody know that's was in the same situation as I was. I mean, I still am, right? I still haven't seen the jar yet, but the hard part's done, right? But it's happening, you know. So just kind of work with him, and if he asks you he needs anything, send it to him because it's something we talked about, right? He asked me what mash it was and asked me if I'd scale it up for him. I scaled it up the best I could, and I sent it to him. And he was like, "Thanks, man, for doing it so quick." I'm like, "Hey, if I don't send it quick, it can't get done quick, right?"
That's right. Like I've been waiting this long. You need something, I'm on it. So hey, like I said, man, it's moving. Everybody's finally seeing movement and everybody.
And it's moving fairly quick, I mean, they went from me right into Daryl. They mashed mine. We mashed mine Tuesday, and then his was Wednesday. I went back. I ran it Monday, Tuesday, and then his was like Wednesday or Thursday, Monday. Right. So they're doing it. It's just
that's cool, man.
If they want something, pay attention.
Yeah, check your email. Stay on top of it because if
you want it, you got to do your part. End of the day.
Yep. Yeah, and that's something I was wanting to throw out here. Everybody who's won, everybody who's competed, we're all proud as hell as you guys. I mean, everybody that's been on there has done one hell of a job. And do me a favor, if you see me at the jam or anything, come up and shake my hand. It makes me feel good.
I sure will.
Make sure he washes them first. Don't shake Matt's hand.
I want your autograph. I'm going to shave my chest so you can sign my cleavage, Sean.
Yeah, I thought you was coming to Beattyville. Right? You were supposed to come to Beattyville to get that done. You weren't allowed to come to Beattyville over the weekend. It was a nice weekend too, man. It didn't storm, and it didn't get too hot. It was warm, but it didn't get too hot.
No, she made me stay home for Father's Day. The kids came over, grandkids, and
nice.
The grandkids want to swim, so.
So she made you stay home for Father's Day.
She made, yeah. Oh, hell, I had to cook for everybody. You guys want dinner? Come on over. I got more brisket than I know what to do with.
You should invite us over Sunday. I'd have stopped on my way home from Kentucky.
Hey, we just got an invite from what I'm understanding.
I know.
Come on over. Come on over.
Brisket Fridays. How you doing, JJ? Brisket on Fridays, man. Friday brisket at Matt's. Y'all better come on.
Yep. But hate to cut everybody short though. It's been an hour and 9, and
Yeah,
some people are just getting in.
We we appreciate you sharing your story with us, Sean. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Like I said, congratulations.
Man,
Yeah,
it's hopefully this isn't the end of it. That's I'm sure there's some other things going to come from it. That's what I tell everybody else that's done it. I mean, there's people that's opening distilleries, people that's got labels.
Mm-hmm.
There's opportunities.
All depends on how hard you work and how hard you push it. You can achieve whatever you want.
Well, who's to say you take a jar that is made from Sugarlands that or recipe and hand it to somebody and get it in the right hands.
Yeah.
And they may like it, like, hey, let's run it.
All it takes is the right person. So
exactly.
Super awesome. Yep. Super.
But I don't know about well deserved, but I got lucky once.
And it's all Matt twice. At least twice. You got lucky at least 3 times.
I got one thing to say about that. It's all a matter of opinion, man.
That's right. So you got them 2 kids in a jar. 3 times you got lucky.
4 count Jenny.
Brownie points, nice.
Oh
nice.
Man,
she'll never hear this. You better make a little snippet and send it to her.
You're starting to sound like me.
I know. You've been spending too much time with Matt. Well, I thought you was stone cold, man.
Yeah,
Come on
Mr.
now.
Ballpurse over here.
Yeah,
I'm surprised his hands aren't like he don't have. His hands aren't white from sticking them in her purse so much.
I'm surprised they're not white from wearing dish gloves, so you don't get his hands all irritated by the soap.
They may not be white, but they're wrinkly.
That's right.
Hey,
that's old age.
Hey, I got a good woman. She's got a ball warmer installed in her purse, so yeah, I'm good.
This my mouth quick. I'm getting y'all off here for you. This is terrible, man. I'm letting y'all go. Y'all have a great night. We appreciate y'all joining in. I believe we're going to be back on Monday. I'm sure we're going to have a much more interesting guest than we had tonight. So y'all come back Monday. I don't know who it is. I don't know who it is until 5 minutes before the show, and so we'll figure it out. So, anyways, we love all y'all. We appreciate y'all listening. Sean, congratulations, Matt. Appreciate y'all.
Man.
Appreciate you hanging out with us.
Me on, Sean, congratulations.
I know it's way past your bedtime, so you better get to bed.
Hell, I missed my pudding cup.
Yeah, man, it's sitting for you. It's sitting for you. So, yeah, if you missed us, then it's live on YouTube. You can just go back and rewatch it if you got time. So, like I said, we love all y'all. Have a great night. Everybody shine on. We'll see you next week.
When we see you.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Shine on.
Shine on.
Shine on.
Oh, that's peachy. That's